If you enjoy the last episode, this episode, whichever episode, share us with a friend.
Yep, we had a couple people share with a friend.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're on the uptick on YouTube subscribers, so we appreciate that as well. Sharing us with a friend. Also, maybe share with your friend to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Otherwise, without further ado, we are in a special place. John's comfortable for once.
This chair rocks, dude.
We're at Worldwide Stereo with our friend Ryan, who is can we call you an audio expert? What can we call you?
Yeah,
An audiophile.
Definitely not an audiophile. That's a whole another level of like expertise.
That's another nerd level.
I'll slow that word down. Audiophile. It's kind of like, yeah. So how long have you been in, I guess, the audio environment? Like, did you grow up in this? Like, take us through because you're obviously, in our opinion, you are an audiophile, but I guess there is another level.
There is. So yeah, I can start from the beginning. If you don't know,
you were born
In a
No,
galaxy
not that.
far, far away.
far away.
It started back in 1979 in this same building. Bob Cole opened up a Worldwide Stereo Center, which is
Because it's officially Bob and Ron's Worldwide Stereo, right?
Yeah, to our local clientele, it's always known as Bob and Ron's. And to our national clientele, it's known as Worldwide Stereo.
Okay.
So back in 79, Bob Cole opened up Worldwide Stereo Center, which is like Best Buy today. So through the 70s and the 80s, we were in the middle part of the store. And what really became our claim to fame was we sold the Atari video games.
Okay.
So Bob would go to someone who could get them and buy them and bring them back here.
That might date some of our listeners.
It could. So employee one was Ron. He was paying his way through community college, and he was driving down 309, and he didn't want to cross traffic to the other audio store that was across the street. He wanted to make the safe turn because 309 isn't what it is today.
Yeah.
There was no middle divider. It was like turn at your will. and Ron is my father. So he's been here for 41 years.
Oh, okay.
He worked his way up. He'd started out with car audio for a while, and then he made the transition to home audio. So then he grew as Worldwide Stereo grew. And as Worldwide Stereo grew, we started taking more of the building over. Like the portion we are in now used to be.
You've been in this same location the whole time?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
What's impressive is, especially the room we're in right now, every room in this place has like its own purpose.
Yep.
And it's done like full bore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the most recent remodel that we did, we eventually had the whole building 6 years ago.
Okay.
Even like probably in the late 2000s, we took over the hoagie shop part.
Oh, so on the end of this building, there was like a little unit that was holding on.
Yep, holding on. And then, so 5 years ago, we see what you guys see today, is every room could be a room in someone's house. So we wanted to really implement design and make people feel comfortable here. Like, oh, I have the same room in my house. Oh, I could do this.
I think we've taken the listeners through John's speaker purchase once or twice. But I remember when John, he came over here for the purpose of, I guess, just investigating things for a client or two that we had upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
And he texted me on a Saturday and was just talking about how crazy this place was. We got to go.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure you made an appointment for me, you, and our Ryan to come the following Saturday. And John was like a little kid. He was like, this is going to be amazing.
Dude.
Yeah, so I had always heard, and if you're from Bucks County or Montgomery County, you definitely have heard Worldwide Stereo or Bob and Ron. Like somewhere on the radio, somewhere in your existence, you've definitely crossed paths with that name. Mm-hmm. But I definitely never quite understood what this place was until I came in. And I could think back to so many times in the past, like buying TVs or buying home theater systems, either for myself or for customers, where I was just like, Best Buy wasn't the choice for that, but that's how I felt at the time. And now looking back, I'm like, damn, I wish I had I walked in here sooner.
And that's the crazy part about it is a lot of my good customers started at a different spot. Either it was Best Buy or another retailer location like us, and was like, damn, I wish I came here. And sometimes they'll be like, the next project they do, they'll remember talking to me about certain things or questions on the phone, and they'll be like, yeah, I definitely want to use you guys from now on. And that's how we've gotten as far as we did, is because we were really good at building relationships with our customers that would walk in to purchase equipment, and then years down the road to help them either service that project or service that piece of equipment, either through like the warranty. And then we've now taken that on a national level to where we have our own website. We work with marketplaces. The customer service team behind the scenes of everything, they're truly amazing. And they're really good at building those national relationships. And the reason we were really good at building those relationships is because it all starts at the top, to where for the decision makers, they, in our merchant department, they make really good relationships with our manufacturers, so we can get the really unique products that customers want in their house. Either that's aesthetically, performance-wise, it doesn't matter. People have a want and need for this.
Oh yeah, and in like just thinking about what you're saying now, not only is this place decked out, but you guys, like in thinking about my personal experience, like you guys were the actual benefit, like as individuals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a lot of cool stuff in here, but you have been so far super knowledgeable and like a resource as an audio person. How long did it take you, or like how long have you worked here, I guess, to like...
So I started in the warehouse probably around 2010, 2011 when I was going to college. And I learned how receiving, shipping, doing transfer between the store, picking products for jobs going out. And then went and got a big boy job. Didn't pan out, which is fine. Had an amazing learning experience there. It was an online sporting goods company. And those guys were like family to me, because like you build that relationship like you guys have, and you start bouncing stuff off each other, and you just realize like, look, I have to do what's best for me. And that was to come here. So I didn't get thrown into sales, nor should I have been. Because this stuff is on the back end, it's really complex. And we can make something sound really complex, but really dumb it down. So I was like store support box boy. And then I just told my dad and Mario, who's the store boss here, was just like, I want to sell. It's time. Like, I want to do this. I feel like I'm really good at this.
Dude, there's a store boss named Mario.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah, Mario. So taking through that journey in my first experience coming here, selfishly, it was for our company because we were struggling with IT guys and people to explain. Everybody wanted to be
honest about it. It was bad.
It was bad. They wanted to sell a simple solution for a lot of money. And it was like, I don't think that we were getting the value for our customers that we like. That's our core principle of what we do.
Yeah. We weren't sure what was out there, but we knew there was, like, we were like, this can't be.
Well, it started from one of our good customers, Tom, who he was a audio engineer for a magazine, and he built speakers. And when I listened to speakers in his house, which at the time he had only started because his what do they call the things that go on the wall?
Acoustical panels.
Like acoustical panels. He just started the journey. So he's like, gave me a disclaimer. He's like, these won't sound as good as they will when I'm finished. But when he played that sound, I've never heard anything like that, even with live concerts or in the car or in a perfect room. Never in my life has like music penetrated the soul.
Right. He did promise to make you cry.
He did. And I think he can now because he's invited us back. And I know Ryan's going to come with us.
I'd be pumped to hear that because you showed me pictures of that.
And when I started talking to him about it, he actually knew about you guys. He's from Maryland. He said, look, the only other place that probably has the technical experience for what you need for customers is Worldwide Stereo.
I didn't know that Tom was the link that brought you in here. I thought it was just your curiosity.
Because before the pandemic, we saw it coming.
Makes so much more sense now.
I bought a home theater system from Best Buy, and it's good, right? I got a good discount on it. I set up the basement how I wanted to. Yep. I thought we were going to be spending a lot of time there.
With your stimulus money?
With my stimulus money. And
you kept the economy going.
I kept everyone going. And after talking to Tom, I was like, well, maybe you should have gotten this speaker, but this one's the one you have. This is a good one.
Right.
And I was like, well, they just didn't know. And I got it from Best Buy. They just didn't know what we should get.
Right.
And they didn't know what the actual speakers meant and everything. So I arrived here. I walked in. I think I emailed into.
You did email in.
I emailed into the thing, the contact thing on the website.
We've learned better than to show up places.
And
if you showed up and I'm always where I am where you came in, I've been like, I would have seen the logos and be like, you guys are builders. And like, this is really cool.
And so Ryan, I came in, I was like, where's Ryan?
You actually called me Ray. It was actually really
Ray,
funny.
no.
And I recognized the logo on your shirt from your signature. I'm like, oh, hey, John.
Yeah. And I did call him Ray. Couldn't quite make the connection.
Can you believe this guy?
And so he's like, all right, well, I was like, well, I want to do stuff. I got homeowners, you know. He's like, well, let me take you through the store. So we actually started in this room. And he explained this room as, this is the...
We started in this room.
In this room. This is a...
We eventually got to this room. Like front where the outdoor stuff is.
We start with the outdoor. This is the first room set up like a house. Basic system, basic 2-channel systems with some surround for good TVs. It's a perfect living room.
Okay.
Family room, living room. We then walked into the first theater, which is off the room here. And he's like, this is theater level 1. Like, and he went over kind of what it was and all that. The sound was incredible.
You said it like that. This is theater 1.
No, he didn't.
I did my EA voice.
Yeah, it's like the speaker game.
Sports.
And then as we went, every room we went to kept getting better and better and better until we ended up in their theater, right?
The Academy Awards, yes.
The Academy Awards Theater, that's at the end of this place. And that's when I realized these guys have an insane ability to make it simple, because he could pull up with his iPhone or iPad, whatever he had, any movie you wanted, and could play any sound within seconds in different rooms as we walked. I was like, well, that's got to take a lot of back-end controls. And as we finished the tour...
Oh, so like as you're going through all these rooms, Ryan, you were walking through with just like one computer controlling everything as you walk through the whole building.
Yeah, I had an iPad in my hand.
And he could pick the room, pick what we wanted to do, change lighting. It was amazing. And at the end, he then walked us back to their display of how they network. And when I hit that, it's like, okay, these guys are serious. We have serious customers.
Networking, meaning like all the cables,
all the cable
run together.
Yeah, cable management, the network switch gears, amplifiers that were sitting back there that weren't in the rooms, that were powering a lot of things. And it was good because that level of detail you cannot get from a lot of guys. There's no real competitor for that.
Yeah, we take a lot of pride in our installations. It doesn't matter what we're installing. If it's gear in that cabinet or gear in that big rack that you saw, we're going to take the time to label everything, Velcro everything, because what's going to happen is some customers are very hands-on. Great. I want you to be hands-on. That's great. You want to get back there and play with stuff.
Yeah, because you can appreciate that.
Right. And if they want to pull things apart and maybe they forget, and it's labeled, they can put it back correctly. It also helps because when we go out and service, so 6 months, a year, 2 years after a project, we may want to run service on that, either for upgrading equipment or maybe there could be an issue in the equipment rack. We can send any tech out there who even wasn't on the initial install to then figure out, okay, this is why they have this, this is this. Okay, this is actually unplugged. We can plug it back in. Or I have to reboot something. Or, hey, I'll get a job progress report, which is a JPR, saying need to update receiver, need to update amp. It gets sent to me, and I reach out to the client and be like, hey, you actually have a larger issue that we found out. This is what we can do. Here are all your options, A, B, C, D, good, better, best.
Okay.
And we do the same thing for like our car audio customers too.
I like that
too. I didn't know. I checked out your Instagram, I think yesterday.
Mine personal Worldwide Stereo.
No, the Worldwide Stereo one. And you had a Subaru in like the first like 9 pictures, and I clicked on it and went through the pictures, like the audio system that you put in there. And I have spent money on vehicles wastefully.
We all have.
And I don't think I have upgraded anything audio wise in a vehicle in a long time. Sometimes because the audio is really good to come from the factory. But then I'm also like horrified to go through the experience of like upgrading the audio system in a car, because until I looked at that, I was like, I don't even know where I would go to have someone like take this computer system out of my dashboard and put a different computer system, because that's where we're at now.
Right. And that's the thing that Chris, who's our car audio expert, and Frank, who's our head installer, can really figure out is now a lot of the car's control system, like my Grand Cherokee, your pickups, the major pretty much iPad in the middle dash controls the heat, the lights.
It's all plugged in.
All in there. Off-road maps, everything you could possibly think of.
So if you upgrade that,
You can't.
I've been in this scenario where I think it was an Acura, and they swapped out the head unit in the car for, of course, like a flip out electronic one, like I was in Fast and the Furious. Because
Nice. Yeah.
how else do you get the ladies when you're 20
Gilmore's
years old?
laughing, dude.
Right? Yeah. So I remember going down to, I want to say, I don't think it was Best Buy, but it could have been Best Buy or like maybe Circuit City at the time.
Yeah.
And I drove back and forth like 2 or 3 times on like the day, and I was like 20 years old.
Doing it yourself.
They couldn't figure it out. They got the car back on, but no audio was coming through,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And I ended up like figuring it out kind of like with the guy that there was like an
Right.
amplifier in the trunk somewhere. And I walked, and the guy offered me a job. And I literally looked at him and I was like, if I'm your best option here,
It's a problem.
like we got to, I literally thought to myself, I'm like, oh my God, like you just had my car, which like was probably my most valuable
Right.
possession at the time. And you have no idea what you're doing at the same
Right.
time. So it was so cool to like go on your like the business Instagram and see that you guys did that also. Cause that is a whole nother other component that we didn't even know, like we didn't experience.
Yeah.
Yet.
And it's crazy because in the 80s and 90s, car audio was like huge
Oh yeah.
because of movies like Fast and the Furious, and everyone had the bazooka tubes. And there's a section of our store called the Digital Playground. That used to be 2 full bays, head units, amps, speakers, subs, anything you could think of, Kicker, JL, Focal, all those amazing companies. Not back then, we didn't carry those now, but
Because you wanted your trunk to rattle.
yeah. I just remember sitting there 9 years old at the red light at 5 points, and it's like from like some Honda Civic next to me. My God, that sounds like garbage.
It sounds like garbage because the car is falling apart.
Yeah.
It has so
I
much
typed it out.
music.
When I first experienced that, one of my cousins had, some subwoofers in his trunk of like his Cadillac, which like he inherited from my grandfather.
215s.
Yeah, and I was pretty young. I was probably 8, maybe 9 or 10 years old. I'm like, oh, what is this? What are you doing? He's like, oh, these are subwoofers for the thing. And I thought he was talking about like submarines or like, I wasn't even sure what the hell he was talking about. And then a couple weeks later, he was like watching us for some reason. And I remember he was like, yeah, country music has like the best bass. And he'd like the trunk, me and my brother would be in the back seat, just like with our heads rattled and be like, James' car is so loud.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the other thing that I've noticed with kind of what's happened with audio is a lot of companies are doing easy audio.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of easy audio, wireless audio that is good for 75% of people, probably 90% of people.
I think
Right.
that's what brought us in here.
Right. And so but we started getting clients that wanted a little more.
Yeah.
And not everybody, this store, and I think you guys will admit, is not for everybody. Right?
Well,
What?
it,
All right.
it can be.
It can be.
Yeah.
But let's be
anyone
honest.
who wants to walk through the door, like I want to hear you out. There's a product in this building and an experience in this building for you.
But-
I don't care if you're spending
Yeah, because you guys
$200 or
You
$200,000.
guys
I don't
do
care.
have like smaller,
We do.
like cheaper Bluetooth speakers
true.
outside there.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have some really expensive stuff, which is probably so like overwhelming. But if you look out there, they do have stuff that's like
and
the everyday
outdoor
man.
speakers are every day, but you guys, I guess what I'm saying is you guys can do something that no other company in this area that I know of is able to do.
Yeah,
Like an
we're very
entire home system that all works and functions together. And our clientele is kind of getting tired of the plug and play systems that have been out there.
Right.
And that's kind of back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you had to come to a store like this to do that.
You did.
And then in the 2000s, 2010s, it seemed to have like gone to do it yourself at home. But it seems to be traveling back towards experts doing expert stuff
Yeah,
in
it
your
is.
house.
I think I could play off. Do you see an uptick in? Everybody saw an increase in sales last year, but do you see like an uptick in people wanting more from their audio environment? That like people are at home now.
Yeah.
maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
So it's like if I'm gonna be stuck listening to, I was gonna say Blues Clues,
Chopin.
but whatever. Yeah,
Let's go Chopin.
Yeah, children
you want
Chopin.
you want to feel like that fucking piano's in the room.
Yeah, that certainly happened. I've like I'll take last year as an example. All of our customers that we sold systems to, or I sold systems to, reached out to us and were like, "Thank you so much. I'm sitting on my couch enjoying this so much more." I also had some customers like, "How do I make this better?" So I would go through back to their file and be like, "Look, this is what you would need to make this better," and that could be like an audio condition, like a line conditioner, like surge protector. You can use a better power cable from AudioQuest to go right into the wall, come into that surge protector either from AudioQuest or Furman or
These are
Wallbox.
things that most people just take for granted. They just plug stuff in.
I think people, when I bring up surge protector, like, oh, like the little power strip. I'm like, no, do not hook that up to this, because what a power strip is will burn up if it gets an electrical charge or a shock, because the capacitors in there aren't big enough. The equipment that we sell, even our power strips, have the protection needed to power all systems.
They also warranty your equipment.
They do.
Those power strips will warranty up to $200,000 worth of equipment plugged into them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like I treat cables and surge protectors like
FDA thing for your
pretty much
for your TV system.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. I noticed that this year there's been a lot of, everything's still very much open floor plan for us, for the most part. But there's been like a decisive distinction where it's like, this is my audio space.
Yeah.
This is dad's audio space.
Right.
This is where the kids are playing video games. How many customers come in here do you like start out maybe selling one room for and then selling multiple solutions for? A lot?
So that's our whole premise with the sales team, either at this Montgomeryville location or even our Ardmore down on the main line, to handle that clientele down in Philly. When either male, female, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband come in, it could be all of them, one of them, two of them, doesn't matter. What I really like to do is build that relationship with them.
Either you can bring in multiple girlfriends at a time.
Well, that can happen.
Okay here.
Yeah,
a couple wives, girlfriends.
Yeah,
it's fine.
All parameters. Be like, all right, how are you guys going to use the system? Who is using the system? How do you want the system to
Because
look?
they could be used differently by different people.
Correct. So if the husband or the really technological person, could be husband or wife, is home away at work, and the non-technical person wants to use a system, I want to be able for them to turn it on and feel confident with it, because if they feel confident using that system, they're going to love it, and they'll reach back out to me and be like, hey, I was actually thinking of doing this for myself in my office. Like, I want everyone to either have a system designed, installed by us, and then serviced to bring everyone together.
So
and
you kind of help people out in a way where, like, I would bring my wife in here and, I'm like kind of selling her on the way here. And then you make these people feel more comfortable where, I'm like, yeah, we're getting this system. This is what we're getting. And she's like, whatever.
I'd rather talk to the people who aren't into it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to relate to them more, because there was a time where I wasn't super into it. I can nerd out with you like we did a few times.
Yeah.
And I can also help customers understand it and really kind of break it down from here's the macro and then the micros underneath.
All right. What is like the difference in this location versus the Ardmore location?
So this is flagship. We have a much larger square footage.
Okay.
So we can put more products in, have more experiences. The really unique and cool thing about Ardmore, which may pertain to some customers or even sticks out for me, is it's boutique. It's very unique. They can put a better quality product on display because of that location. Because they're down in Philly, down on the main line. There's a lot bigger projects and a little bit more income coming in down there.
Yeah, the vibe is different.
Sure.
The vibe is very different. I should use that word instead. So they can really wow someone coming in but the good thing for them is they can show someone a $10,000 pair of speakers and then have that customer go, okay, what's underneath? And they can sell off that a lot quicker than we can, because we have speakers in here for $2,000 up to $65,000. So we can usually start in the middle or even up there and bring them down. So they can do a little bit quicker, which for some people it may work, for some others it's not. Mm. And their setup is more design oriented than where we are. So they have a lot more architectural products. Like they have speakers that can go behind drywall and you not see them. Like in this room, there's a 5-channel system behind the drywall. Mm. You can do lighting and speakers up above that match your lighting. So like a kitchen, that's really elegant. A lot of things go on in there.
Can I try and spot the speakers?
So the ones that are...
Is there one right there?
No, they're up above the TV.
Okay.
And then there's 2 behind you. They're pretty well hidden.
Damn, dude. Damn.
Dude, I can't see anything.
There's a center channel right there.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
When we're done, I'll show you.
Holy shit.
What was crazy when you took us into the theater in the back?
Yeah, I wanted to say that.
all those speakers are behind the wall and they're behind the screen.
Yeah.
And when you play, it's almost better than going to a movie theater.
If you've ever been to like an IMAX, have you ever been to IMAX?
Yeah.
They show you in the beginning of the IMAX, be like, this is what we have here. And they like light all the speakers up and stuff. You guys, they have that here.
Yeah. It's a reveal button. I just
Dude,
click it and everyone goes,
it's
oh
crazy.
my God.
Yeah, I went home, or maybe I said it before we left here. I was like, I could definitely, previously, I was like, yeah, movie theater room's cool. But after leaving that room, I could easily spend six figures, $300,000 on a room like that.
You can.
And I don't know that I'd be mad about that because we were sitting there enjoying. I was like, we would get the use out of this room.
Yeah.
You would have people over. You would have fights in that room. Like,
Well, what we would
like,
do when you have
so
people
many-
over,
yeah.
you put a credit card reader outside.
Just scan them for.
Seriously, you probably could get in trouble for a pay-per-view if you have like too many people over.
Yeah.
Like 30,
If you had
40
50 people over your house, you got to charge per head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the cool thing about that theater is the equipment behind it is Macintosh. That's going to be the best sound that we can offer amplification-wise here.
Macintosh, like
That's kind of
Apple.
what, if you see it on the
Yeah.
screen, that's what this guy is.
Yeah.
Right there. Like
They make amplifiers.
that's one of their smaller amps, actually.
Is this still that have anything to do with Apple Macintosh?
No.
No.
They're up in Binghamton, New York.
Okay.
So they're all handmade. It's all done here, which is
It's
cool.
a big
Have you ever
name. They look good.
Have you ever been to the
Factory?
Factory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there 3 years ago.
Like white gloves and aliens and stuff. What do you got there?
White gloves, and they do a really good job there making all their products, and they believe in their product, and we can transform that belief into our clientele to where they're like, it's handmade, it's awesome,
I don't know.
sounds really good.
Do you see this thing in the shot? Do we got this in the back? We'll take some pictures before we leave and maybe like just cut them in. But these things look like little Tesla power stations.
They do.
Some of them
They're tubes.
Some of them out there are even more wild looking.
Yeah.
And when I first showed up here, I didn't even know what it did, but I knew I wanted one.
You were just taking pictures of everything when you walked in. It
I
was
literally
funny.
was just like taking pictures. I was walking in, just with the camera. I was just like taking pictures. People were like, "Who is this guy?" I'm like, "I'm with the big."
We actually got a call from the marketing department. They're like, yeah, you can't take pictures here.
Did we really?
Possibly.
No, it was funny because I made that joke to you. I was like, hey, you can take all the pictures you want, but let's get approval first. And then that Instagram picture you sent of me, you took a smiley face and you put it over my head when I was going over that project with that customer. And I was like, oh, this is funny.
That's funny as hell.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about that
You're
theater,
probably like a weird
but for-
face. I probably caught you off angle. Usually I'll be like, oh man, I caught him at a bad angle. I'm gonna hit him with a smiley face.
I don't have bad angles.
Oh,
dang.
shotgun.
Dang. They also have a room which is all just 2-channel room, right?
Yep.
So if anyone knows you want to listen to music on a 2-channel, that's how it's intended to be listened to.
Yep.
It's not intended to be listened to on surround sound. That's movies.
Say this again.
If you're listening to music, they're intended to be a 2-channel, a left and a right. That's how music is intended to be listened to, not a surround sound. They have an entire room with probably 20 sets of speakers, anywhere from, I think your smallest ones are the Klipsch 500Ms or the RP 500s or whatever, the smaller ones,
Yep.
right?
Slow down there, big guy.
And so, but those speakers,
I'm letting him go.
That pair of speakers is under $500. Like, so it's not intimidating for somebody to come in. And in the music that comes out of those little bookshelf speakers is phenomenal, right? But you only go up from there.
Are those the speakers you got?
No.
The CP3.
No, I don't have any RPs. So Klipsch has lines that are reference, which are just R whatever, or RP, which is reference Premiere.
So you got the R2D2.
I have the R 40Ms or PMs, or they're powered speakers. They're 4-inch. He's nodding along. He knows, right?
What do you?
John, I'll give you a poll and you can come in and work on Saturdays.
Yeah, dude.
Yes,
And so what they change,
I tell everybody, John's a professional hobbyist.
what they change is
I love it.
the tweeter between the reference and the RP. It goes from aluminum to titanium, and they change the horn a little bit, so the sound's different. But again, Klipsch is a much different sound than like a focal speaker is, right? That's a much smoother speaker. So it depends on what you want. But back to the 2-channel thing, they have a room set up with 30 sets of speakers that you can click and get your 2-channel of how you want, from anything from $1,000 system, right, with the amplifier,
Yeah.
to probably a $40,000 system in that room. So that room's really cool because you just sit in chairs and you just keep hitting buttons until you find like the match that you want.
The switching system in that room is from like the 70s, and we have it like
I don't know.
rubber band and paperclip together to make sure it works.
It's beautiful. It works every time.
It does. Thank God.
It's amazing.
Thank you, Gavin, for getting that room ready.
And then they have the next.
Take me back to this whole 2-channel thing. Why can't I listen to that in surround sound? Like, why wouldn't I listen to that in surround sound? Because an asshole like me is going to be like, I want the speakers around me and I want to feel.
But a good 2-channel system will cover around you like a concert. Is that right?
Yeah, if you have really good reflection in the room, or you have panels like what you may see in the cameras,
Is that
you can get it like that.
Is that because that's how the music's recorded in that format?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry.
I do. Yes. It analog. You have digital and analog, right?
Yes.
You have 2 ways to record things. Analog is the old records, recorded live. They throw it on a record. It's beautiful music. Then they digitalized music, right?
Which is binary.
And they're trying to mimic the sound coming off a stage. So most music, unless it's a funny digital kind of sound, is trying to mimic a stage setting, because you want to be able to close your eyes and see where the instruments are on the stage with your sound depth and your height.
Is that because it's easier to record coming from like a 2D direction versus like a 4D?
No, when they digital, they have to place the music in the sound stage where they want it, and that's what makes it really good. I don't know what they call those, mixers.
Yeah.
Who are the people that do that? Mixers, I guess.
Gilmar, who does that? Is it a sound engineer?
Like a sound engineer. A really good sound engineer can take, because right now they record vocals separately, they record the guitars separately, and they have to put it together as if it's going to sound in a concert.
Right.
And a really good sound stager is going to know that. They're
You do the same thing for movies.
You know who needs a good sound stager? Did you watch the Thriller event with the Jake Paul fight or anything like that?
No.
They had the performances before that event. All the music was complete, it was almost as if the artists were singing different songs from what was playing through the television.
Oh boy.
You're sitting, I was like, what is Saweetie? Does she know the words to her own song? And
Who?
Yes, Saweetie. And then
Jesus.
my wife was like, I think it's just really bad lip syncing. And I'm like, I don't know.
The fact that even
that
on
makes
TV
sense.
is embarrassing.
Yeah.
But that's why, when I brought you in here and we were listening to the music on the big speakers in the back, I kept trying to move you to the center.
Yeah. I mean, I came here willingly to see you. You didn't bring me here.
No, I brought you here.
It wasn't forced. He said it he had to convince me.
You were pretty excited when he showed
Dude, I
up.
was so
Dude,
excited.
I'm
We're
not
gone into this.
I'm not
insane.
gonna lie. I got here and John was so pumped up.
I think I was here waiting for him. I was like, where is he?
So pumped
here
up,
yet?
and I'm like, oh my god, here he goes.
That's what made my initial tour with you so easy, because you know a lot about this. And
I
was
went
like,
down the rabbit hole ever since that homeowner, and then now I know enough about speakers. I can talk to most people about speakers.
Does he know the speakers you bought?
He does, yeah.
On
On a scale of 1 to 10, they're like a 2.
We weren't going there, but we all knew your desk speakers were inferior to the.
You had him on Instagram that one time.
I know.
We have him in the back. We have the same ones.
I come into the office, and have you ever seen a house with 2 oversized columns at the end of the driveway where you're like, those columns, those
Don't
gargoyles
match.
don't match the house?
Yes.
I come in and John's like bouncing. He does this thing where he's bouncing. He just see what I got. And I'm like, how can I miss the 2 Honda Civics on either side of your computer monitors?
Oh, dude.
He literally had to lift his monitors up higher to fit the speakers
Nice.
under them.
So I had those in my bedroom, and I was getting such good acoustics at night listening to music, right? It would take me into the music,
Right.
that I wanted that in the office as I worked. But what I found out is I can't concentrate hard enough at the music while I'm trying to work. And I was like, these are fucking pointless.
Well, yeah, because that's the same thing as Mr. Tom's listening room. Mr. Tom made him sound creep.
It's like Mr. Rogers,
Mr.
but
Parizella.
Tom.
Extinguished.
Mr. Parizella, his audio room. I mean, I haven't experienced yet, which I feel really bad about. But what else is in there? Nothing really.
Well, he has his computer where he controls all the audio stuff. He has a couch and he has the 2-way channel, and then behind that, he has his record player, and I think he has his amp.
And maybe a hookah.
Right? No.
So that in hearing about that space, it's very evident to me that he like that's his. Like he's going in there to listen.
He is.
You obviously messed up when you thought like your listening time could be shared with your, your work time, which I don't think. I mean, I don't know if ever, but not definitely. Like maybe it brought it back to me, or maybe I discovered it when I came here. When I came into the store and had that little episode with you, obviously, I was like, I could actually see myself purchasing an obscene set of speakers today.
I know.
Even though I talked a lot of shit, I was like, I could have definitely came home today with a doozy purchase.
Dude, Tom
and
said,
been like, and then gotten like, I definitely since then I've definitely been like a little bit more critical of the audio quality of things. I'm like, I definitely wish I had a listening room. I know one of our customers buys vinyl stuff, and we've seen they've shared with us a little bit, or like we've ever heard music they play. Like, so I'm definitely starting to appreciate why
when you hear Tom's, which is about the same as the speakers that you have in the back.
Yep.
He built them himself, but his wife.
That's so cool.
His wife came to me when we were first building the home, because they had interviewed a bunch of builders in the area, and they gave us a great review. So if you haven't read that review, go on Google.
Audex/Revival
Google, read their review. It's amazing, and it's a truthful review. A builder's a builder, right? But it's how we deal with problems and how we get through unique situations. Mm-hmm. When she first interviewed Andrew and I to like build their home, one of their first things was she pulled me aside. She's like, John, this audio room, I don't think you have any idea what Tom does in there. But she goes, if I have to hear him play his albums, because he does start to finish. He'll take 4 hours and finish a whole album. That's all he does. Like, it's his watching TV.
He'll fit in great here.
Which is what I was getting to.
She's like, if I have to hear that album one more time, I'm gonna lose it. I'm not gonna build this house.
We're such a visual. We've gotten so visual, and I don't even think what we are as people anymore is even really that visual as it is more like reactionary to things. It's like screen, flash, sponsored ad, whatever. When I started, when I took a minute to actually think about the experience here, it was definitely something I wanted to get into, because I kind of was like, wow, I could set aside time and be entertained by something and get totally absorbed into it, and then give up the distraction, which is seemingly all other entertainment now that I've come here. Because now I'm watching the TV, it's all bullshit. It's all like, you're watching YouTube. Besides our show, it's mostly bullshit. Like, you're not really getting a lot. You're not you can't really close your eyes and get anything out what you do from either podcasting or listening to high quality music, which I didn't really put that together until just right now. Because podcast, I guess I kind of was maybe obsessed with it before coming here, because the audio quality of listening to podcasts. I would hate listening to people's podcasts if it was Zoom. People ask us to do Zoom podcasts all the time, and I've turned down some great people to be there's absolutely no way. I cannot stand listening to a conference call, regardless of what your topic is or how important it is. I'm just lose taste. So now that we've experienced your store, right? How do you advise someone getting into low level audiophile?
You want me to sell them?
Dude, you're gonna let John sell? No. All right, we'll let John sell first.
Here's what I would say.
What would you say?
Because I have to do this. My next step into audio is to do the RP600s. It's a $500 set of speakers, right, with a really good amp that could be expanded to other speakers. That's what I would do.
Is this facts?
It's facts. We're talking about it currently.
But that's what I would start with. But get an amp that you could. But let's let the expert talk.
Thank you. It's okay. For me, and just how I've grown as a salesman here, it's so much more now than cool. You have this goal right now. You want a pair of speakers. You want an amp, turntable. We'll keep it that simple for the folks at home. How are you going to use it in the future? Are you going to expand on that system in that room? Do you want to hear that same album throughout the rest of your house? If you do, there's equipment on the back end that we have to hook up to that turntable and hook up to your exact system to play a record outside through your speakers. So it's so much larger than that. So myself and the rest of the sales guys, we really question our customers a certain way to really get to where they want to be. So they could come in wanting like a little Bluetooth speaker or a little Sonos speaker, just throw it outside on the patio. When you go see the patio or when they show you pictures, like you should probably consider like a pair of rocks, pair of planters, maybe a landscape system because it's such a large area, and then just kind of build off that. Yeah. So it's just so much bigger than just coming for a pair of speakers.
Someone shouldn't really come here that's not interested in, finding a solution. Like if you're just trying to, I just want sound.
If they just want sound, there's a solution here for you.
Okay.
It's just figuring out how they want their sound and how to make that sound look, which is funny to think about.
But once you, like Andrew's saying, once you hear sound, and we're gonna take Gilmore after this.
Did you hear that? Can we clip that up? Once you hear sound.
Once you hear sound,
clip that
Yeah.
for sure. Holding that.
Gilmore, I'm gonna impress you when we're done this.
That's gonna be in the vault forever.
He's gonna make you smile so big. He's gonna stop calling you Go Bar. What was it?
Gumbar.
Gumbar.
Yeah, dude. What was his name the other day?
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
And Gumbar.
Yo, and Gumbar. Yo, shout out
Gumbar.
Gumbar.
You'll hear the big system in the back.
He can smile,
of the
and he's very in touch with his emotions. Gilmore, like he's very like he can speak with you and relate to you very easily.
We're getting along.
He's gonna smile like nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like Andrew's hard to get to smile.
Yeah, Gilmore's.
Does Andrew ever smile?
I think it's empathetic.
Empathy. He's got empathy.
Is that the right word? Like Gilmore, when you talk to Gilmore, you actually feel like someone's listening.
He actually listens.
It's like,
right?
Oh my God, this is the first person today that's actually intent on hearing what
Look at him, he's smiling already.
Yeah, well, because dude, I like when people listen to
smile
me.
and nod.
Like I don't, it's kind of like do to others as you like them do to you.
Yeah,
so
dude, he's gonna make you smile. You better get your playlist.
Can we play some Frank Ocean back there?
Yeah.
Look
Dude, look at him, he's lit up.
You know what?
No, I love when customers come and goes, I have my own music. Like, thank God.
I really just got excited too because when I came here, I was texting one of our customers to be like, what should I play? Because I really on the spot didn't know what to play. And it was like a Saturday and I would have played I would be like, let's play some techno.
No, that's
and it wouldn't have been appropriate. But Gilmore
is it music?
You besides sneakers, I think music and like media type stuff, you always are like, you got the funny clips and things. Like, I don't know, you just know the music and stuff like that.
Yeah, I try to listen to a ton of
touch.
shit. Yeah, I try. Like before, I used to only listen to Spanish music growing up, and then I expanded to like hip hop, and then now with my girlfriend, she listens to a lot of shit like Empire of the Sun. What the fuck is something else? MGMT, like shit like that. I never would really listen to, and then she put me on Elton John and all these other different bands.
Who's not in the Beatles?
Who's not in the Beatles yet?
You guys want to hear something hysterical?
Every time Elton John comes up, I have to redeem myself from the time that I said Elton John was in the Beatles.
So my fiance hates my taste in music, and I work here. She constantly makes fun of me. So like we're getting married in a month, and she's
congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats, that's awesome.
I'm
Do you think you'll get a gift card from Worldwide Stereo?
Did you guys have to put it off at all? Or
we didn't. We got extremely lucky.
Okay, so this was your date.
This was the date.
Ooh.
I know.
Whoa.
Yeah,
And it was always a backyard wedding too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's like double points.
I relate
With
to a
some
small wedding.
Outdoor speakers.
So that's what we're doing. I'm reaching out to a rep to bring out some crazy outdoor speakers for music. The cops will come.
All right.
Sorry, Dad.
If you had unlimited funds,
Don't start.
I wanted to find out his music.
and
Yeah, me too.
If you had to
Hootie and the
pick,
Blowfish.
if you had to pick one setup,
Yes.
one 2-channel setup, what would you do?
It would definitely be.
Is it the RP7000?
No, they don't even make them.
No, they make RP. They make RP 8000s, which are 8-inch.
I wasn't
Yeah.
calling.
It'll probably be Macintosh monoblocks like MC 611s or MK 1.2s. It's like 1,000 watts a channel.
Is that like how big? Show me how big with your hands.
The size of a Honda
This is the
Civic.
amplifier. This is the amplifier
Jesus.
only.
We got them in the back.
This is only
huge.
amping. So 1,000 watts going to each speaker.
I'll probably do the Focal Grand Utopias. When I was in France, I heard those, and everyone was picking out their music, and I went with Jurassic Park, the John Williams clip, and everyone was making fun of me. My owner of the company, his wife, and like most of the sales guys could hear pin drop because like, oh my God, Ryan actually picked a good song. And,
Dude, we should play that today.
Well, see that gives Ryan some clout.
Got some
No, that's all they
clout.
talk about now. When
You
we bring
don't
up Focal speakers, like, yeah, Ryan played John Williams' main theme
I
from
can't
Jurassic
wait
Park.
for you to experience what's about to
I'm
happen.
excited.
I'm excited again.
Yeah, when you use, you could hear a pin drop.
Because they just shut up for once.
That's like the
Now we're getting into it.
yo, give Ryan the keys. When you say you could hear a pin drop, I think verbally, I don't know of another dramatic, thing that you could say to emphasize like audio.
It's very visual.
Yeah,
very
you could
visual.
hear a pin drop.
So people used to read and get into reading and visualize, right? And kids in growing, there's so many distractions like Andrew's talking about. People are forgetting how to imagine and image stuff inside of their minds.
Yeah, because it's kind of nice to just shut your eyes sometimes and just
Like
be like, can I just let this?
Your mind's going to take you where it
pass.
goes, right?
I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm gonna open them and it's gonna be the next moment.
You know what you should do? It's almost considered meditation, closing your eyes and listening to music.
Oh, I'm gonna straight up call the health insurance company and see if we can do like if we can get a service dog, what can we get some speakers?
Yo, if you could figure
Service
that
speakers.
out, I bet we're gonna sell a lot of speakers at Worldwide Stereo. You take that Keystone
medical audio card. Let me go.
You take that Keystone plan East.
Well, that's what we'll do is
Yo, Keystone energy pipeline.
No, it's the insurance.
for example, like when we give really nice home theater demos, at a certain point, we'll play something that looks like absolute garbage. Like, for example, Open Range was made many years ago. It's 1080p. It's not 4K like everything else here. That is strictly an audio display. So one of my coworkers, Sean, he uses that.
Because audio was
Very important to that client.
Yeah.
So where he was like, I want a home theater. I get what 4K is going to look like through this projector on this screen. I'm cool. How does this going to sound? Open Range really does a nice job where they're in a gunfight and you can hear the bullets whizzing past your head. Because
is that the one we watched?
No, but I can play that for you.
What was the one we watched?
I think that was Ready Player One with the race car scene and everything's blowing up.
We did that, but then we did
Apollo 13.
No, we did the one where they're flying to drop bombs on Japan.
Oh, Unbroken.
But then I found out it was produced by
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie.
Sorry.
And then, which is pretty much a Nazi. And then I decided not to watch the movie.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's a really good scene for demo in a sub because when the
But I
bombs hit, you
think
can hear it vibrate.
You know what would be a cool show to watch in that theater would be that Netflix, like that Formula One series.
Oh,
Yeah.
That sound crazy.
I think
Or-
anything would be good in that
You know
room.
what would be good in that movie?
We play video games in that room.
Days of Thunder.
Playing Call of Duty on there.
Days of Thunder, that
Days
NASCAR
of
movie.
Thunder.
You ever seen
I
that?
don't think I've
Tom
seen
Cruise.
it. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, Ricky Bobby.
Boy.
Ricky Bobby.
Oh, that was
No,
that's the wrong movie.
Talladega Nights.
Yeah, Talladega Nights.
Oh, I was
You
right.
gotta break us like wild horses, ain't you? Sure.
Dude, I'd like to watch Batman on there, The Dark Knight.
That's
like-
an option.
Yeah,
one of
what's
my
your,
favorite movies
what's
of all
your
time.
Batman? What is your Batman?
My Batman, it has for me Christian Bale.
Okay.
That's
Same.
me.
Who's your Bond?
Sean Connery.
I was never into James Bond, so I couldn't really answer.
The blonde Bond. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
The one
The
that's
new
out,
one?
or the old one.
Ian something?
Oh, Jesus. He had Quantum Solace, and my friend was
Craig.
like, yelling at me. I don't know
Craig.
what it is.
Something.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel
Yeah,
Craig.
that's the current Bond, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's who I
He's
like.
good.
Yeah,
He's really good.
pretty convincing.
Who's your Joker?
Oh, the dude.
Kurt Cobain.
Jack Nicholson for sure.
Over
What is
Heath
the guy
Ledger?
that died?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
He said Kurt Cobain.
I just let that go. I'm like, I know what you mean.
I thought it was a bad joke. You actually
A bat
believed it.
joke.
Wait,
A bad joke.
Let's
Yo, you know in the podcast how the we move to who's talking? When Gumbar's talking, we got to put Jerry the giraffe in the background, like on the screen or something.
We don't have a camera on him
I
because
know.
we had 3 cameras here, and the 4th one was out of the budget that month.
So if you want to help us, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Put
We
it.
need a 4th camera for Gilmar.
we went to checkout, and Gilmar was like, I don't need to be on camera that much. And I was like, oh, you sure? $3,000? Oh, never mind. Yeah, I guess maybe next time.
We're good.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I'm all right.
Sometimes we get him on there, no?
Yeah, when he was on with Tyler, you
Oh,
were
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, Tyler.
She was wearing the Pit Vipers. That was funny.
Yeah,
fucking Pit
dude.
Vipers.
Tyler's
R.I.P.
fucking- Yeah, dude, Tyler's fun. I was going to say it, but I was like, I'm not going to be the one to say it. But you said it, so now I'm going to say it.
You were gonna say.
R.I.P. Tyler.
7 out there.
Yeah, dude. Shout out Tyler.
Yeah.
If you listening, girl, we thought you were going to make it to more episodes.
It's all right.
It's okay.
It's okay.
That's
Yeah, we
awesome.
got Gumbar.
We're
I'm
excited.
so sorry.
We're excited because I think
cool.
as we get to know more and more, we can offer our clients this solution.
It doesn't have to be
And
audio. Everyone
Home
now.
automation, it can be
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is a huge deal.
It's after
I have-
last year and still this year.
So
It's out of control.
You guys are kind of like your worldwide stereo, but it's really
Do
just,
everything.
It's really just everything in your home
Yes.
that makes it
Shades,
that extra
lighting,
stuff.
lighting control, overall home control.
What technology do you think is emerging that's going to be big? Do you feel anything?
Do you feel anything?
I think voice recognition and like controlling things more with your mouth, like the whole Amazon Echo, that's going to evolve to where you don't have to talk to it like a robot, where you can walk into a room
Lights on.
and have like, yeah, exactly.
So,
But you have to have an Amazon device in the room to do it. I
Yeah.
think now it's going to come to the point where we don't need that. Where
Can
like,
we get a closed circuit one where
Yeah.
the internet's not listening?
my fiance bought a bunch and I unplugged them like 2 months later because they were
Yeah,
talking to each other and I was like, yeah, no.
what? Oh, I like
Because they heard each other from like upstairs, downstairs, and I was like,
Oh.
nope, I'm plugging everything.
That's weird. So
I don't have any of that stuff in our house.
at home, I have an entire Google Home thing. They have the Google Wi-Fi,
Nice.
that, all that shit.
Yo, it's fun as shit to go to Gilmore's house. Probably.
So in every basically in almost every room, I have a speaker. So I walk in and it's kind of starting to get to where you can just talk to it.
Yeah.
And say, hey, G word. I don't want to say it because it might activate it.
Hey, Google.
Yeah. No, I can't hear it. But
right.
but if you say it,
that's
say
right.
like before I go to bed, I'm like, hey, G word, bedtime or good night. And
Right.
it's good night. It says my name, turns off all the lights, turns on like the sound thing that I have going on, so
Cool.
I can sleep at night.
You're telling me
So-
I don't have to yell at my kids to get up and go turn off the lights
No, bro.
downstairs?
You want
I
to control
do it
lights
all
by
on
your
my
phone, you can do that.
Yeah, I do it all on my phone.
Hey, Google, flush all the toilets in my house.
At some point, you might be able to do that. Hey, Google, take out
Dad, I was in the
trash.
shower.
Yeah, man. I think for sure that's the next thing. It's getting so cheap and accessible to everyone. You can have a decent Google speaker for $100 and put it anywhere and just automate everything.
Yeah, no.
It's so easy.
Not in my
And that's the
house.
thing
Yeah.
what we would like to
Ariel's
do.
got like tape over all the cameras and shit.
Yeah.
You'd think we were like, she was married to like Edward Snowden. Like, I'd be like, yo, what are you worried about? You got like the tape over the Peloton camera.
You guys are fucking hackers, man.
The CIA's watching me work
Yeah,
out.
right.
We're like, all right.
I don't tape my cameras. I'm like, see me, I don't care.
Yeah. Go fuck. Look at my ass.
He's rubbing it in.
What?
You're petting your dog.
Hey, yeah, that's the whole thing.
God.
Just like my prescription audio system is gonna be my prescription.
Look at it. Look, he's just holding his finger in his mouth. I love Rambo.
Yeah.
It really sucks because Andrew's really getting into this training and he's doing a good job. Dog has the vest on. We're not allowed to pet him.
Yeah.
And I have to respect it because it's what it's for.
Such a cute dog.
Yo,
It's a shame.
dude, when we're like flying and going places again, and we have
Look
the
at
dog
him.
everywhere we go, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm really glad Rambo's here for not vest time. The rest of the time, I have to respect it.
Look at him.
Oh, we have to
Look
pause.
at
The
him right
phone
now.
is ringing. I think it's this alarm company.
Ooh, there's probably
We in
not,
here?
yeah. If you're listening, there's definitely enough equipment here to hit it. Yeah. Rambo's like threat. There's a threat. Look at him.
Yo, shout out to Amanda, who's outside the room, also supporting us.
Hi, Amanda. Thanks.
Making sure Ryan stays in line,
Yep.
representing Worldwide Stereo. We got to just keep it going. And it was pretty difficult to get through this interview with like the sea dragons and leopards and stuff on the screen.
Yeah,
behind
it's
you.
tough.
Come on.
I'm sorry. Luckily, I
What do
can't
we
see.
got?
I get to look at a tune-up from Worldwide Stereo.
Yo.
So that's what's up.
Behind us.
Yeah.
This is what you've looked at this whole time?
Yeah, the whole time.
What do you think that guy's name is? The beard.
Herbert.
Herbert
and Phil.
Herbert and Phil.
I was going to go with the Chuck.
Okay, Chuck. Okay.
Chuck's a dangerous name.
That is a dangerous name.
He definitely
Yeah,
has,
it's Chuck.
With that facial hair, it's a dangerous guy.
Yeah, Chucky.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I
Dang.
can't trust the Chucky.
Yeah.
No.
He looks
Is
like
that the alarm company?
No,
his ultimate frisbee.
That was Mario.
He wanted to make sure I called the alarm company, and I said it like 8:30.
Did you tell him
buffer.
that we're in the middle of a podcast?
I did say you called it the worst time.
And he called me like, "Hey, man." He knew you'd pick up.
He laughed. It was funny. He's like, "Oh, keep going. You're doing a great job."
Was they watching us?
There's cameras everywhere.
Yo, let's
I'm sure Bob's watching. Who's in my store? Hi, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Yo, Ryan's in
Rana
here.
Bob.
Can't get him out. So
You wish. Yeah, you can't get rid of me.
what's in the future for you? Now that it's obvious that like you've kind of made the showroom your own thing.
I love it here. It's like my second home. I love all the guys here. They helped mold me into the salesman and honestly the person I'm becoming.
The marriable.
Yeah.
Concierge. Home service.
Even the technicians have helped me a ton. The project managers, the online team who I worked with a lot last year when we weren't working out of the store. Pretty much everyone I work with on a daily and non-daily basis. And if you work for this company, I learn from you. And I truly greatly appreciate all the
This
work.
sounds like an Academy Award speech.
No, it is. You asked. I'm giving you an honest opinion. I hate talking about myself. I'd rather talk about everyone else before me.
Yeah.
And equal rights. Diversity for worldwide.
Stop eating the cows.
No.
Stop eating cows.
No, I get that.
So like the future is like
You see
I
yourself.
really enjoy. I'm staying here.
Okay.
Like I'm very happy here. I enjoy working with contractors and builders and architects and designers like yourself. That's kind of where I've headed because I'm a very visual person. So when I walk into a room, I'm just not gonna be like, all right, pair of speakers. All right, cool, done. I'm like, no. Does the wife or the husband who doesn't want the pair of speakers, do they want them to look a certain way? So I take a whole design element. Who we have an interior designer on staff, Carrie. She's helped raise my game to where I'm now putting in systems into homes, into rooms that work with the room. The same thing with when we start doing more stuff together, you're going to see all your cans and you're going to see our trim kits for speakers all in the same line. Because one, that shit drives me nuts to see the moon on someone's ceiling. I want the sprinkler system, the HVAC, the speaker, the light, all in the same line if we can. And I have control over one of those things.
Yeah.
So like however the lighting layout works, I'm like, all right, cool. This is where the speakers are going because that's how it's going to work well. And usually where the lighting is, wherever we do audio there, it'll still cover nicely.
I like how you're working with one of our customers and you're going over what they needed, and their first reaction was, let's get everything as nice as we can get it. But then you were like, well, that in this particular room is not going to be the right situation.
Correct.
Like you don't need a bazooka every time you go into it. So I did like that. I liked a lot about it, and I would just say like the experience has been great. So if you're watching, you have any questions about audio, like this is a really cool place to come to.
Yeah, where can people find Ryan? How do people get in touch with you?
So you can call into the showroom, ask to speak with me.
That's for Ray.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you can call in, you can email into the chat and just ask to speak with me. I'm the only Ryan here at the moment, and I think it'll remain that way.
No more Ryans.
No more Ryans after this.
Yeah,
so just call in and ask for me. I'm more than willing to hear you out in your design. If you're even national, I don't care. Send me pictures, send me emails. We'll get on a Zoom call, and I'll design a whole backyard theater or lighting system for you. Because like there's people across in California that I talk to all the time now. They're like, I sold them a sweet little Sonos system. They're like, hey, can we do like something with a receiver and play Sonos through it? I'm like, yeah, we can. We can easily do that.
And
so
you
now,
guys are supported across the country in that way.
we are. We have a warehouse distribution center here that I've worked at a bunch and learned a ton from those guys. Every Black Friday, I go get them donuts before that rigorous holiday rush because it's like a thank you and a good job that they do.
You guys pretty much sold everything on that day.
Oh yeah. Like when I was like on Mondays when we were when we were shut down, I would go in there and ship packages, and I would just take pictures and text them to my dad and be like, "Look how much we sold," and he'd be like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Because everyone was home with their stuff. And then we also have a warehouse on the West Coast to handle on the, like most of our California West Coast customers, some stuff in the middle on the other side of the Mississippi. And that's all made possible by a merchant department. Steph heads that, and she does an amazing job creating relationships with our manufacturers to be able to sell online. And then we have an e-commerce division who they help make relationships with Target, Amazon, Newegg. I'm sure there's a bunch I'm missing. They're making fun of me for missing it.
No, it's great. You guys have a really good team here.
No, I love the team here. Like,
and they can find Worldwide Stereo. Is that what the Instagram is? Worldwide Stereo?
Yeah, Worldwide Stereo. We do a ton of projects. And
the Instagram is really nice.
Yeah. Amanda runs that. She does a great job. Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Amanda.
It was funny. We actually went to the same college, and we knew of each other. So when we started working, I was like, didn't you go to your college? And she was like, yeah. I was like, hey, by the way, did you run their Instagram account at one point? Because at one point it was like really, really bad. And then it started getting good towards the latter years. I went there and he goes, yeah, I ran that. He goes, oh, I could tell.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. So
I plugged you, Amanda.
Maybe we'll have to get some pointers from Amanda.
Yeah,
you guys do a good job.
Visit them Worldwide Stereo on Instagram.
Yeah. And
subscribe for crap's sake.
Yeah.
Will you subscribe?
I subscribe and like.
If you enjoy the show, share us with a friend. We do some sponsored stuff. We do market for, whatever, but we try and keep the sponsorship stuff to a minimum. And the way we can do that is if you guys keep sharing the show organically, then we don't have to do the dumb sponsored stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we appreciate all the 126 subscribers we have on the YouTube today. And if we could get that up to 1,000, that would be great.
That'd be fantastic. Really great, guys.
And then, of course, follow us on Instagram, No Prisoners. You can also get to the audio version of our podcast through the Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can get it. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button wherever you are, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's a subscriber diet right now. This is what we're about. So thanks for listening. This was Ryan, Worldwide Stereo. And thanks, Bob and Ron.
Thanks, guys. I had fun.